Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for watching the podcast. Tell me your story. This is your host, Chris Baker, and today we got a special guest on to tell her story. Her story about working in the kitchen. Her story about before the kitchen. Let's give it up for Miss Jennifer Tidwell. Did I say right? Tidwell? Okay.
Yes, you did. Greetings to you. How are you?
I feel pretty good, man. It's another day, another blessing here on this earth. How about yourself? You fresh out the kitchen?
I wish I could say, well, I take that lie back. I'm not going to say I wish I could, but no, I'm back from Punta Cana. So
Oh,
I'm about to get ready and hit that kitchen. I don't know, I might cook something later.
all right, all right. Just gotta throw down in the kitchen. Let's start off simply by just saying thank you for being on the podcast. It's truly an honor and a privilege just to have you on
Thank
the
you for
show.
having me. Thank you for having me.
Yes. And let's just dig into this. Let's start from like the very beginning. What was your early life childhood like? Just growing up.
Early life childhood was easy peasy lemon squeezy to me. I don't remember many hardships. I mean, don't get it twisted. Grew up from modest beginnings.
Yeah, yeah.
But most people, for the most part, I think, who grow up from modest beginnings probably don't realize that's what it is until you get older and learn what more is out there.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean,
Okay, wait,
easy.
wait, wait. I gotta say, actually, for the viewers nowadays, I mean, what year was this? Is this the 80s, 90s? What year are we looking?
I was born in the 80s.
So we're in the 80s right now. This is where it's all taking place. This is before, well, the phone was just kind of coming into place. We had that big old phone for a while.
hmm I remember, yeah, wow, geez. I do remember getting cable, and I believe it was called either Cable Vision or North Coast Cable. So I remember getting that. We thought we was pretty dope when we got that.
Also, I'm thinking too,
Um,
at this time period, the bunny ears were, people don't even know what that is anymore. Big old bunny
yeah,
ears. You had to have the bunny ears just to get a station and a channel.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up TV cut off at night. The Star Spangled Banner came on, the TV went off.
But people were like now I think like people would try just the younger generation, they go back just a little bit, just to that time period. I think they would be kind of confused. What's going on here?
Right, right. I mean, I can't remember like during the week, but I think I'm almost sure Saturday night I would watch American Gladiators, and then I believe the next show after American Gladiators was Benny Hill, and I believe after Benny Hill you got the national anthem that was like the sign off song, and then you got that and TV went off.
Like time to click, turn it
Right
off.
now, I guess that's bedtime.
American Gladiator though. Did you ever see yourself being on that show?
Yes, I did.
You're like, man, this stuff looks easy. I can do this.
Well, and it's funny because I didn't want to be a contestant. I wanted to be a gladiator.
Okay. I can see it. I can see it.
So I was very, growing up, very athletic. I was in physical fitness. There was a time I thought I was going to be a physical education teacher.
Yeah.
I was very physically fit, very active, still pretty physically fit actually. So yeah, just growing up, it was easy. I mean, like I said, it was humble beginnings, but you really wouldn't know it until you got older. Um, Loving family, both parents were in my life, so I didn't have no problems with that. Parents were divorced, but no biggie. I mean, in this stage, we're enough, pretty typical, I guess. But no, both parents was there. Saw either one as much as I wanted to. I really didn't have not too many qualms or whatever. Both had my grandparents. I had both grandmothers. I didn't have my paternal grandfather, but I had one grandfather, two grandmothers. So has half siblings, one of which you actually know, Latania.
Heck
You,
yeah.
that's my sister. um, have a little sister, have two brothers. I don't have many complaints.
Nope. Man, that's a
Mm.
pretty good childhood, I would say. Pretty good life. What was
Yeah, I
it?
mean, I really can't think of anything that I would really complain about, honestly.
All right, so the last person I had on, she was homeschooled. Were you in the private school, public school? How was your education
Public
like?
school. Cleveland public school system.
Cleveland?
In the house, baby. No, went to public schools. I'm not against them. I feel like I could have definitely been taught more, I guess, maybe. I'm not against either or. I guess the only thing I can say that when I got graduated from the public school system, I went straight to college. I went to Ohio State for a
Oh,
year. And when I got there, I thought I was ready, but it was kind of like, ooh, I'm not sure if I'm ready. Yeah.
please do
So
tell
I
more.
do,
Do tell more. Do tell more.
um, it was just you. They tell you about college. I'm trying to think. Uh, I'm a suppressor. I am so good at suppressing memories, so I'm really trying to think. So like when I graduated from high school, I was ready to go to college, and all you know is like it's this big place or freedom. Parents aren't around, going to meet friends. If you're a partier, you know about the party part of it. And in my head, it was just like, oh, well, I done did 12. Well, I guess we wouldn't include kindergarten, 13 years of school. I'm just going to another level of school.
So you thought.
Right. And come to find out that's not it. So just thinking that you're going to be in, well, I don't want to say I thought that I was going to be in school from sun up to sundown because I knew that wasn't the case, but um, having to go off a syllabus or, having to read the syllabi and you were really, it was really you had to pay attention to it, make sure you read it, understand it, knew it, rather than your teacher saying, okay, this is due on this day, this is due on that day. You don't get those subtle or not so subtle reminders. You have this, you have that. If anything, they'll let a test is coming. Other than that, well, it was on the syllabus. You didn't see it. This assignment was due on this day. You didn't see it. So,
So in other
just
words, for the people that are not quite understanding, let me break it more down for you. It's easy in high school. You can kind of lay back a little bit, just relax, kind of ease yourself on the test. But college, no, 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 that's a whole nother level.
right,
You gotta put your focus and your whole attention into it. It ain't gonna be like, oh, the teacher's gonna say, yeah, it's gonna be like this is what we're covering. No, you gotta be studying that material, whatever you're after, whatever you're pursuing. You gotta make sure you know it front and back.
right.
Because when you get
It's
into it, man,
definitely
you're gonna get that first test, that first paper, and you're gonna be like, uh, this is not what I this
right.
wasn't expecting this.
Right. That's pretty much how it was. It was just kind of like, I mean, I don't want to say I was completely unprepared. It was just a matter of truly having to fend for yourself. Like you really had to become the adult and be mindful and be aware of what was going on. You had to set the deadlines for yourself. You didn't have, the constant reminder like, okay, guys, we will, go over chapter 4 and 5 and be ready for X, Y, and Z when you get in here. It's like you come in, you get lectured, ask some questions if you had them, teacher answered the questions, and that was it. It was on you to read the chapter if you was going to read it, study if you was going to study. You lucky if they gave you a study guide,
Yes,
and
yes.
you lucky if they did a like a study session with you before you go to the test. Some professors, instructors do, some do not. So
And for that, whoever's watching right now, who's listening, you're a senior in high school and you're about ready to go to college. Don't be ashamed to get a tutor because I mean they do really pay off in the long run. And you might need it
yep,
at the next level because you're on a broken system. And what I mean by that is you're not taught very well. They kind of just give you like, yeah, you need to go to college and that'll help you out. They don't give you the in and outs or what to expect. So when you get to that next level, when you're going to college, be sure to get a job as well. Start making,
mhm.
put stuff off to the side. I'm going to tell you that from my own advice. Get
Oh yeah,
yourself situated. Get some help, man. Get some guidance. Look for somebody to, give you that advice that you need. Somebody to help you out.
exactly. Because I mean, I had a tutor and I was a tutor all at the same time when I was in college.
Yep.
So I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Because
It's
I
okay to
mean,
ask for help.
yeah, that's what you need more than ever. Once you get to college, and yes, the parties are gonna be there. I know a lot of you want to get there and get, explore, adventure, and see what it's all about. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're not really missing nothing. It's nothing. I
Yeah,
mean,
by the
that
time I
first,
made it,
that
by the
first,
time I got to college, it was crazy because by the time I got there, it was just like, I mean, granted, I did go right out of high school, so I was 18 going to college. And it was just crazy because when I got there, everybody was like, party, party, party. And I was sitting there like, they was just looking at me like, what? And I'm like, I've been there and done half the stuff y'all doing already. Just
and
like,
really, I mean, that's really that's what I meant by it. It's like that's all it is. If you ever been to a party, that's all it is. It's just the same stuff. You're just going to party with different people you haven't met yet. And I'm not
and you
saying
don't have a curfew.
I'm not saying don't do it. But at the end of the day, it's gonna fizzle out really quick.
Right. Right. I'm not saying don't do it. I would just say be mindful, be aware of your surroundings, and just know who you're going out with because mommy and daddy just might not be there to bail
Yeah,
you out.
yeah. Who knows? You might have a story to tell by the end of the night.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we all got a story if you've been there and done it.
Yeah, yeah. I know my first week at the University of Toledo, I definitely had UT, man.
There you go.
But that's for some other time.
A true story.
Some other time. So how many years did you go like, at the?
So I went to Ohio State for 1 year. And the reason why that's ain't that what they do? Ain't that what cats do on Zoom? Isn't that what
You
they
got a
have?
special guest?
Right, right. They just know when the Zoom meetings are coming.
Another appearance?
I went to this is Rush, and don't mind her. She has uh I guess she has a deviated septum, so that little snore you hear,
Oh,
that's her.
I thought she was trying to talk.
Right. Come on, Rush. Come on, baby. Sit over there. Thank you. But I went to 1 year at the Ohio State University. Is she too loud? Because I know
No,
she's
you're
like,
okay. You're okay. Go ahead.
okay. Um, 1 year at the Ohio State University, and I didn't go back. I was supposed to go back, but I just decided not to because what a lot of people don't understand, which I didn't know, once again, not prepared, not knowing, when you go to a school that big, it's not just lecture and possibly labs and coming home.
Oh,
You have a lecture, and if you have certain classes, then there's labs for those classes. But then even in your lectures, you have not dissertations. What is it called? Can't even think of the word. Come on, Rush. I'm looking for the word. But anyway, you have class, and then you have a subclass where you're getting taught by a TA, and then you have labs. It's just a mess. It was like where you would take one class, I was taking two classes for every one because the lectures would be so big.
what?
So, for instance, if I was taking English, you would have English lecture, and then you'll go to the lecture, get whatever you can take from the lecture, and then you will have like the actual class time where it's like maybe 20 or so students there. I can't think of the term. If the term comes to me while we're going through this and I think about it, I'll let you know because for whatever reason, it's just not.
Drawing a blank. You still on
That's why I'm
vacation?
drawing a blank. But basically, it just felt like it was so much more class time than if you went to a different university. So once I left Ohio State, I went to Cleveland State. And
Okay.
that's where I actually graduated from. And it was like, that was the normal. It's like, okay, wake up, go to class. You get everything in this one class, this one lecture, or you get everything in that one lab, and that was it. I didn't have to go to the other class to get all like the one-on-one from a teacher. And 9 times out of 10, like I said, that person isn't even a teacher. It's a TA, a teacher assistant. So it's kind of like, I'm paying all this money for the true instructor to instruct the lecture, and then I can't even really have access to you. And then I got to go to a TA. It was just too much. I was like, whatever. It was fun. Met a lot of people. I wouldn't trade it back, but whatever. But I graduated from Cleveland State. I graduated with a bachelor's in biology, a minor in chemistry, and a concentration in medical technology, as well as being pre-med.
Wow. Okay. Look
So
at
that's what it is.
you doing big things over there. I'm proud of you, man.
So
You
thank you.
walked away from the Ohio State. I'm sorry, the Ohio
Yeah,
State,
the Ohio State
and
University.
then you went to Cleveland. What do they call Cleveland? What's their
Cleveland
nickname?
State University.
Just Cleveland State. So then
Yep,
you went over
Cleveland
to
State.
Cleveland State, man. Back in the hometown. I'm like, what's up,
Yep.
guys? I'm back.
Went there. And then from there, graduated. And I mean, as soon as I graduated, I was able to find employment. And I,
That's always good to hear too.
right, thank you. Like I started, what was my title? Molecular, bleh. I was some type of molecular something or another. I can't remember the title. Probably a molecular biochemist or something. I don't know. It was something like that. But anyway, that was my title when I first started there. And then I ended up going into quality control. And I hung out there for a while. And the few jobs I had along the way was in science, being, quality control. No, actually, I take that back. I was a technical manufacturing chemist. That's what I was.
Hey, doing big things over there. Watch out.
Yep, I started out as a chemist, and I went to quality control. And left there, started working at the Red Cross, did some laboratory work there, left there, went to another company. That's called, where did I go to? It was called Affymatrix, but it was bought by Thermo Fisher, but I ended up being a quality control engineer there. And when they got bought, they moved all the jobs to Lithuania. So it was like, what do I want to do? Do I really want to stay in the science field,
Probably by
or do I
then.
want to pursue other things? And I ended up pursuing other things because other people seen in me what I didn't see in me. They believed in me and see things I didn't saw, because I would always cook as a pastime. And I would throw really big cookouts and things like that, and have friendsgiving and birthday parties and things like that.
So in
People,
other terms, you like to throw down in the kitchen.
yes. And people was like, you should do this for a living. You're really good at it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, all
So
right, whatever.
who would you say influenced you to take that step, to make that move?
Um, well, the me getting laid off from the job, one, and the two, a really good friend of mine's named Stephanie, and another really good friend of mine's named Maya. Those were the two that was really pushing me the most. Like, you should do this. You can do this. You're
Oh,
really good. So I talked to the husband and was like, hey, if I, so while I will backtrack a little bit, while I was working at the place called Affymatrix, they, that's when they got in my head. I was still working there when they got into my head. And I was like, well, why not go to culinary school? I'm all for it. And they had classes where I could take classes while I was still working full time. So I just started taking classes to learn more about it. And somehow they changed the classes. Like, the classes wasn't being offered at the same rate of where I could take them in the evening. So certain classes that I needed to get that degree was only offered like during work time.
yeah.
So I ended up having to stop pursuing that. I don't want to say career, but at least the degree part of it. So I had stopped, but I still continued to cook. But when the company moved to Lithuania and laid us all off, I was like, maybe I'll finish this degree. And I asked my husband, was it okay? And he was like, yeah. I was like, all right, dope, then I'll do it. So I went on ahead, and as I was there in the field, the more people I learned there, like in the college or whatever, and just the more friends I got, the more I started realizing this probably is for me. It was almost one of those callings that I didn't know I had.
It just
It's like
clicked.
a natural talent for me.
So it just clicked as soon as you got into it. You're just like, I like this. It's actually pretty cool.
Right. Because it was like I knew how to cook before I started, but you didn't know. I don't want to say I didn't know all of the techniques. I just knew how to cook. I didn't know what I was doing. As far as concerned, I'm cooking. That's it. That's all. you know but then you have all these different techniques, and I learned the name of the techniques of what I was doing and what I was doing, why I was doing it, how I was doing it, how to create flavor profiles and flavor affinities and things like that. So some things you're just doing because you was taught probably from your parents or whatever, but you don't understand what you're doing and why you're doing it.
And that's the thing, I don't think a lot of people think about that as well. As you're getting taught how to, cook, people think you're just making all these different meals, and you're just cooking you're preparing different stuff. But at the end of the day, you said you're learning all these different ways of doing it. They're teaching you all these
Hmm.
different things. Kind of go in more detail so people understand exactly what's going on.
Okay, so I mean, some people are like, all right, I'm gonna just hurry up and fry this on the stove. I mean, if you put it on the stove and you put some oil in there and you cook it, everybody just say I'm frying something. Well, no, you might be braising, you might be sauteing, you may be shallow frying, you may be deep frying.
Yeah.
It's like it's not all the same thing. Like sauteing is basically cooking really on really high heat fast. Where shallow frying, where people like, I'm just gonna 9 times out of 10 when people fry chicken on the stove top, they're basically doing a shallow fry where you may have your cast iron skillet. You probably put that much grease in it or that much oil. I guess I should call it the right term, oil. And you're shallow frying. Deep frying, I wouldn't recommend, but it's like if you put a pot of oil on the stove and cook it in that. So, it's just these things. And braising, for example, is when you're cooking for it's almost like an extended saute, but it's not at high heat. So it's like if you're cooking like Swiss chard or cabbage or kale or something, you're cooking for an extended period of time. And I guess I wouldn't even say Swiss chard and kale because those things cook pretty quick, but you can braise cabbage, you can braise greens, you can braise meats and stuff because you're cooking it for an extended period of time on the stove top with a certain technique. And then you may even put it in the oven and finish it in there. So it's just a lot of things that you don't realize you're doing until you're taught. No, that's what you're doing. No, you're not just frying something. Actually, you're not frying anything at all.
Now, let me ask you this question. When
Hmm.
you began like cooking in front of them, what was the one thing that blew you away that they told you was doing not right?
Um, hmm. I don't want to say it blew me away. And I wasn't ever, to be honest, I wasn't ever told I was not cooking anything incorrectly, but they were just kind of like, why aren't you using your thermometer? You have a thermometer. Why aren't you using your thermometer? So that was the thing, like getting used to picking up the thermometer to make sure you're not overcooking your chicken, make sure you're not overcooking your roast or anything like that. So that was the one thing that they got on me the most about, like not using my thermometers. Because, I mean,
You're
when
not
you get
thinking about that, yeah.
when you're home cooked, you just cook it and be like, all right, that looks done. I guess it's done. It's been in there for long enough. It's done.
It's done. It tastes good. I mean,
Right. So that was the one thing they would get on me about a lot is not using my thermometers and tasting food as I go. And that's very big in the kitchen. Like if anybody watch Food Network or anything, you will always see the chefs, the contestants constantly, well, I would say the seasoned chef or a seasoned cook, they're constantly tasting as they're going. And that was a big thing I didn't do. I would get in trouble all the time. Like, did you taste that? Well, how do you know it's good? How do you know you have the salt profile right? How do you know it's sweet enough? How do you know this? Ugh. So that was the thing I got dinged the most, not using my thermometers and not tasting as I go.
well, I guess I'm doing something right because that's something I always do when I'm cooking. I always I'm always looking at it, tasting it just to see like, is it good? Is it ready to go? What else does it need? Does it need a little bit more seasoning? Because I want everybody when they have a meal from me, I want it to be the best meal they ever had.
I mean, to be honest, I don't know why I didn't taste it. I mean, my nose is pretty sensitive and I mean, I know this sounds weird, but I can almost smell if it's where I want it to be.
Oh, you got that. It's done.
Right. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I mean, has my nose let me down from time to time?
I can see that.
But I'm better with it now. It's like I really do taste as I go more because now it's just second nature.
Now, yeah, now you can just do it whenever. You're just like, boop. Okay, I got it. Now you ain't slipping up still, are you?
No, but I still will. And I grab the thermometer. Even if I think it's done, I'll grab it, throw it in there just because. I just try to keep that habits because, you know, obviously cooking in your kitchen and cooking at a restaurant, I mean, I don't want to say there's two different techniques, but I mean, there's an industry standard when you're cooking in a restaurant in comparison to your house.
Yeah.
So I really do try to make sure while I'm cooking at home, I still just follow the industry standards because what you practice is what you're going to do.
Mhm.
So even at home, I still try to make sure I follow all the standards so I don't mess around and go out there and do something like at home. I can use the same spoon and taste all day long.
Amen.
But in the industry, I can't keep sticking the same spoon in the
Boom,
pot.
there
So
it is.
right. So at home, if I'm tasting along the way, I'll just have like maybe 4 or 5 spoons out while I'm going. So I know to just, toss it and I have another one.
There we go. So once you had finished your complete, like when you're complete with all your training, how quick was it before you got into somewhere, a restaurant? How fast did that happen for you?
Um, so while you're going through your education, that's when it's time for you to, I guess, pick or figure out what kind of chef you want to be. Do you want to work as a personal chef? Do you want to work at a restaurant or a country club? I guess you just have to figure out what it is you want to do with this culinary experience. Do you want to open your own business? So along the way, and they do have electives along the way that you can take so you can explore those options while you're in the field. Or you might just want to be a competition cook. I mean, there's a whole lot of ways you can go. And once I graduated or was coming upon graduating, I thought I wanted to be either a caterer or a personal chef.
Mhm.
So when I finished, um, I didn't start working in the restaurant industry as soon as I finished. I'm trying to figure out, I can't remember what I did. What did I do? What was I doing? I don't know. What was I doing? That is really mind blowing because I was doing something. Um, so when I finished it, actually, I think I was helping other people. Like when we were finishing, I had to do a practicum where I had to work with somebody for, I think, 200 hours, I believe. I had to do it twice. So I had to work with somebody for 200 hours. So basically, you had to put in 400 hours. So I was actually helping other companies. So one person, they did have their own brick and mortar. So I helped there to just learn some ropes there. And then there was a catering company and I helped there. And then when I finished doing that, hmm, I'm trying to think. 'Cause I really don't remember swiping anybody's time clock. I guess I was just cooking for me and just had odd jobs, in and out jobs along the way. It was just doing things here and there because I think I didn't I only worked in a restaurant once that I can remember. I mean, when I was younger in high school, I worked at Bob Evans
Okay.
as a hostess.
As a hostess,
Yes.
long before
So,
being a chef.
'cause I wasn't old enough to be a line cook. I think you had to be like 18 to be a line cook.
Okay.
So I wasn't old enough to be a line cook. And I was interested in doing it, but I wasn't old enough. So that was that. But after that, I only worked in one restaurant that I can think of since I've had my degree. And I learned a lot there too. It wasn't like a 5-star hotel or resort or anything like that. It was just a small business restaurant. Um, but other than that, it was more so just diving into what I wanted to be. I did catering, I did personal chef, I did being, I guess you can call it a private chef where you do intimate dinners for two. So it was a lot of me just freelancing, honestly. Um, I did that for a while, and along the way, people just, I mean, I guess I made a name for myself just having cookouts at my house, people eat my food, me helping other people, um, catering events here and there, at going to networking events and taking food so people can taste my food and giving out business cards and things like that. And that's how it really ended up. I kind of flourished that way.
Yeah, everybody was talking about your food, man. They're like, damn. I was over at that girl's house, man. Woo!
Yeah, I mean, that's really how it was, honestly. And friends would ask for me to do something, like they'll have an event. They're like, "Oh, well, can you do this for me? Or can you make some hors d'oeuvres for me? Can you do this? Can you do that?" And that's really how that came about.
So how long was it before somebody, your phone started ringing? Some people started calling.
Hmm. So I would say, I believe if I remember correctly, I became a certified chef in 2018.
Okay.
I believe that's when that happened. And I created my LLC in 2019. So in 2018, I was getting calls here and there, but I didn't have a name. I didn't know what to call myself. I mean, so, I would get calls just here and there, like, "Hey, Jen, can you do this for me?" Or, "Hey, Jen, can you do that?" And it was whatever. So in 2019 was when I finally came up with a name and created an LLC, which is Genuine Cuisines, genuine with a J.
Yeah.
And I'll say, I mean, my phone was ringing in 2019, but 2020, I guess, is when it really started, because that's when I was able to create the LLC, get the business Google page. I don't think I created a website until 2020 either, but then that started helping. Then I made the Instagram page and the Facebook page and all that. So I say 2020 is when it really started picking up and starting getting business and things
That's
of that nature.
booming.
Yep. And it was, and that's when I was really able to start fine tuning and figuring out what I do like to do and what I don't like to do and what I'm willing to do and what I want to do and what I won't do.
That's good though. That was a perfect time. It was what you would say 2020 was COVID time, wasn't it? So that was a
Yes.
perfect time to sit back, kind of get a feel for what you're after.
Sorry, forgot. I guess I should have put my phone on whatever that thing is called, airplane or something, because I definitely got a call. But yeah, so yeah, and it was weird because when COVID first happened, as we all know, the restaurant industry, cooking industry, right? But I'll say within about 4 or 5 months, it actually um took a turn because people were scared to go out, but they still wanted restaurant quality food.
Mhm.
So that's how I started getting called for doing like intimate dinners for two and private dinners and stuff, because it really wasn't on my radar. Um, People will call and I'm like, "Oh, that's not my thing," and I refer them to other chefs I know who did it. And then it just got to the point when it came to like the third or fourth time, I was like, "Okay, Jennifer, you're leaving money on the table. Maybe the universe is trying to tell you something. Give it a try. Either you find out you like it or you don't."
Yeah.
So I
So
went on ahead and started doing things, but you have to try to see what you like and don't like, because you don't know unless you give it a go.
yeah, and what would you say in that time period as you were growing and becoming, what you are now? What would you say was like the obstacles that you had to overcome during that time period?
Well, the biggest one is I had to get over imposter syndrome. That was probably the biggest one. And then, like, getting over syndrome, having the confidence in yourself, figuring out how to do something you never done before. Cause I mean, yeah, I know how to cook, but going into people's houses and trying to cook for them, I never done that before. So I had to figure that out. Um, and just find the lay of the land, finding what was comfortable for me, and just getting the right footing. I mean, to this day, it's funny because people ask me to do personal chef services and ask me to do private dining. And to be honest, that's probably the one avenue I don't like too much. More so because I don't like, well, I mean, y'all can probably tell I'm small in stature, but I'm only 5'1", 100 pounds soaking wet. I don't need to go behind anybody's closed doors by myself.
Hear me speak or whatnot. I wonder if I can change the angle so y'all can see it. I'm not sure. But I'm going to cook root vegetable hash. Bear with me. Reason being, sometimes my family be on it, sometimes they don't. So I don't know. And I didn't want to make too much and they was on one of them. So we're gonna add some salt here.
Okay.
Welcome
Gotcha.
back from the commercial break. And before we was cut off, we were talking about how she was only 5'1",
Right.
and she had no
So
business being behind closed doors.
right. So I mean, don't get me wrong. I do feel most of humanity are good people. You know what I mean? But I guess that was just one of my things getting in my own head. Like, oh, I'm back here cooking for these people. I don't know them. I mean, it was just one of those things where I was just like, I just wasn't comfortable. So
Yeah.
it's not me faulting, the guest or anything like that. And
Oh,
I don't like thinking that way, but that's, I guess, just my own insecurity.
well, I mean, I can totally respect it though, because being a smaller person, I'm only 5'3", so
Welcome to the shirt club.
yeah, welcome to the club. But anyway, so being in that situation, I can totally understand what you're talking about, because you hear so much about it, you read much about it. You don't know what's happening behind closed doors. You don't know who you're getting involved with, and I'm not saying everybody is a bad person, but you just don't know.
Exactly. That's what it is. So it's like when people ask me to do personal chef services or intimate dinners for two, I mean, if my husband, and he's very willing to, so as long as he's coming with me or a friend will come with me, then I'll do it. But if I can't find somebody to come with me, then I won't. But I mean, that, that, like I said, I just kind of found out that that's not really the avenue I want to go down. It's really weird because I love cooking and everything. But with COVID going on, well, with 2020 and COVID and everybody wanting food, needing food, I was able to venture so many avenues, worked in a restaurant, did the private chef services, did the catering and all this and all that. And I was able to just really sit down and be honest with myself. It's like, okay, what do you like? What don't you like? And I was able to just kind of fine tune some things. So I'm actually really happy about that. And I was hoping that I would have my website done by this time already, because we're already in February and we're in 2023. But, going forward, I kind of know where I want my culinary services to go. And it's not just cooking. I'm really good at coaching and consulting. And there's a lot of new and up and coming food entrepreneurs where I live at. And I take it upon myself to help them and teach them and coach them and consult them. And it gives me joy knowing that I'm spreading the education that I have to them and help them. I like being behind the scenes, believe it or not. People, well, you don't know me that well, but a lot of people think, oh, you're extroverted, you're this, you're that, you're an outgoing person. And for the most part, I am. But when it comes to cooking, I actually like being behind the scenes. I like just being behind the scenes, cooking the food, shoving it out the door, enjoy it, thank you, bye.
In other words, you like to make the moves without being known and pulling the
Yeah.
strings. And
Yep,
people are like, "How is all this happening around us?" It's like, there's a person that's doing it, but she don't want that much attention.
that's me. I just like to cook the food, put it out there, and keep it moving. And I mean, when I worked at the restaurant that I worked at, it'd be times where they're like, go out there and introduce yourself, let them know you're the chef, cook. I'm
Yeah, like, no, no, that's okay. Thanks, though. I'm good. I'm good.
right.
Okay, so what would you say is your meals that you like to prepare the most out of everything that you cook? What do you like to? What's your go-to?
So the meals I like to prepare the most are the ones that I have to give no thought to at all. So the meal that I can just cook, be it just I don't have to think at all, would be baked chicken, macaroni and cheese, and greens. Or salmon croquettes. I like making salmon croquettes also. And I love one pot meals. Like if I can throw it all in a pot and it comes out as a meal, I am happy. Like homemade cheeseburger macaroni, hamburger helper cheeseburger macaroni.
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorites. Sloppy joes, like all those meals that you can just make in one pot, easy, and once it's done, it's done. You can just shove it in your mouth.
You know what I found? Like for me, I found like you can make so many different dishes with macaroni,
Yeah,
and a lot of people don't realize that. But these last couple of months, man, I've been coming up with like different flavors of it, like taco mac, buffalo mac.
Well, that's the thing. Like macaroni and cheese, I mean, depending upon how a person makes their macaroni and cheese, it's such a blank canvas. It's a very blank canvas. I have made many things like chicken parmesan macaroni and cheese, taco mac and cheese. I mean, you just do whatever you want to do. And with pasta, I mean, I not even on the macaroni and cheese sense of it all. Pasta is just as long as you know which pasta to use for what you're trying to accomplish.
Pasta,
You
I
can
mean,
do it
once
easy.
you master pasta, man, you can make so many different dishes with it.
Hmm. You really can.
It's a and for those
Just
that
easy.
for the people that don't cook and you want to get into this field, I would say yeah, go after the macaroni, go after the pasta, because that's usually it's a good start for you. If you can master the pasta dish, so be it.
I don't know, like, well, yeah, I mean, they will. I mean, because you can mess up pasta. Pasta is easy to mess up, believe it or not, because you're supposed to cook it al dente, and once you cook it past al dente, now it's overcooked. And I mean, me being a chef, I don't even like my pasta al dente. I actually like mine slightly overcooked, but that's just me.
Yeah,
I don't like that firm bite on my pasta, but I don't like it mushy either. So I like mine's probably right after al dente.
yeah, nice little soft.
But once you figure out where you like your pasta at, then you can just go in for the gusto and do what you want to do. But I mean, I think honestly, a lot of people might feel that this is an intimidating thing to make, but the easiest thing to make, honestly, is a soup.
Yeah, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah,
People get intimidated, and I'm like, honey, do not. I was like, if you have some vegetables and you got some broth somewhere, and I mean, I don't have no broth. Do you have any ramen noodles in your house? Yes. All those seasoning packets, that's bouillon season. Throw it in some water, make you some soup.
yeah, yeah. I definitely see that. Walk me through a typical day in your kitchen.
Oh, at my house?
Yeah. Alrighty, if you're cooking somewhere, give me a walkthrough. What is it like?
Mm. Well, let me think. So a typical day, there isn't a walkthrough because a typical day I'm not cooking.
Oh, come on, you're a chef. What you doing, man?
That's what I'm saying. A typical day is, what y'all want to eat? Oh, y'all want some Olive Garden? Oh, y'all want some bar food? Okay.
Let's go get it.
So, but if I am going to cook something, if it's a typical day in the kitchen for the family, uh, usually, I mean, I'll ask them what they want, or they'll tell me what they want. But if they don't have an idea and it's something I want, I guess a typical day would be taking a moment and just kind of replaying what's in the freezer or in the refrigerator. What do I have? What do I know I have? Um, and once I just kind of put the one and two together of what I think I may have, I'll just go through the house, make sure I have everything, and from there, set it all out on the counter. That's called mise en place. Mise en place means everything in its place. So basically, you mise en place, make sure you have everything to make what you want to make before you start trying to make it. And then from there, you just prep everything. And then once you prep it, you go to the stove and have at it. Just cook it. I mean, I know it's like, is that really just it? But in my home kitchen, yes, that's really it.
Okay. Yeah.
um, if I'm in a professional field, and it really depends on what that professional field is. If I'm catering for someone, that's a whole nother ball game. Like I literally write down the menu, write down all the ingredients I have. Even though the recipe may be in my head, I have all the recipes in front of me because at that stage now I'm cooking multiple things at one time. And you usually just go by, okay, what takes the longest to cook? And that's what you start with first. So whatever takes the longest, that's what you cook first. So you can get that started and just go down the list all the way down. And you just, if you feel like you're a little If you're not all the way with it that day, make sure you have your timers, because timers are your friends, because timers give you the reminder like, hey, don't forget that's in the stove, or hey, don't forget you're cooking that over there. I don't use timers all the time, but if I got too many things going, get the timers going and just keep going from there. It's hard because a typical day is, I mean, it really is knowing what you're going to cook, get your recipes, get your supplies, get your ingredients, even get the stuff that you're going to use to cook. If you're using tongs, spatulas, tasting spoons, stuff like that, seasonings, pots, pans, cutting boards, knives, you get all that out. So you have it there. So you're not like, oh, where's the can opener? Oh, where's the whisk? Man, I knew this bottle opener was over here, but now I can't find it. So you really kind of want all that just kind of sitting before you get started. So it's just there.
Okay, with that being said, what would you say is probably the dish that you enjoy the most?
To eat?
Yeah. Like, what do you like working with the most?
So what food I like working with the most?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't have a favorite food I like working with. I don't like touching meat.
No? Poor husband. No, just kidding.
Well, it's not because I don't like touching it. It's because I have nails. And honestly, in the restaurant industry, your nails shouldn't be. I mean, there was a time where they shouldn't be. So obviously, you can see I have nails. That would be almost too long. Like right, if you was to do this right where you can see your nail, that's about the length they want it to be. Now they have it where it's about they don't want your nails no longer than like 1/4 of an inch.
Okay.
But I just don't like stuff under my nails. So since I don't like stuff under my nails, because that's just nasty anyway,
Get that food on
I don't
you.
like touching meat and stuff. So I usually wear gloves a lot because of that. But I'm trying to think, what do I like working with? What hmm 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 hmm. I mean, I guess when I get into a groove, I don't mind fabricating a chicken or breaking down a chicken, getting your chicken into the 8
Oh,
pieces you need to do. Um, what else? If anything, I guess I like working with food. So I guess I would say like produce or anything where I can actually use my knife skills.
mhm.
So
Show
that
off
would
a little
probably be
bit.
the funnest things to cook with or play with in the food field.
Now, is it true? There's a rumor going around town that when you use your blades, they say somebody told me that you use a samurai sword to
Me?
snap the chicken. Yeah, to slice up the chicken to pieces.
No, but um when it comes to a chef knife, they do have different sizes, and I do prefer a 10-inch blade.
Yeah, there's a rumor just going around here saying something about a samurai sword, and I had to just get to the bottom of it. I was like, that can't be right.
No, not a samurai sword. I use a 10-inch blade though.
But somebody said you throw it up in the air and you just slice it
Hey,
all up in 8 pieces.
tell them to stop looking at what I do behind closed doors.
Yeah, I'm like, come on. I mean, if that's what she's doing, that's what she's doing. But come on now, don't be giving away her secret.
I wish, hey, when you have a sharp knife, though, I'm here to tell you that makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Now, how
So,
often did you have to sharpen your knife afterwards?
so you don't have to sharpen your knives as much as you think you do, because what a lot of people do is when they're using that one instrument called a steel and you're rubbing your blade back and forth on it,
Yep.
a lot of people think you're sharpening your knife. No, you're not. You're honing your knife. So, how often do you have to hone your knife? You hone it every time you use
Yep.
it.
Yep.
So, so that's to answer that question. And as far as sharpening your knives, if you take care of them, I would probably say as long as you're not doing nothing crazy with them, beating them up, dropping them, trying to open up cans and break through bones and stuff, I would say probably once a year you want to get your knife sharpened, at least nice once a year.
Okay. So do you have any particular like dishes that you have a challenge with at all?
Hmm. 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 So you don't know until you try. But if I would give you an ethnicity of foods where I wouldn't say is my strongest point, it'd probably be a toss up between Asian and Mediterranean.
Okay, okay.
And it's not that they're hard to cook. Honestly, I would say they're, well, hell, sushi, hands down, is hard. And have I made sushi? Yes. Is it easy? No. So if I want to say a food that would give me a challenge, that's it, sushi.
Sushi, huh? Sushi.
People don't even understand, for people to like become like sushi masters, they really like study for almost 10 years. People have no clue about that. Like you really, it's, you don't just make some sushi rice and roll some stuff and I'm a sushi master. No. So that one definitely gives me a run for my money. Sushi for sure. To the point I just don't even try to make it. I'm good.
You're like, nope.
Mm-mm. I'm good. Put the gun to my head and you make me do it. I mean, I can get it done. It's not gonna be, A plus, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be something close to it at least. It'd be.
Right. It might look like sushi. But outside of that, I mean, I guess as far as just flavor profiles and just really trying to get those type of meals together. But I mean, if I have a recipe, once you got the recipe, I would say it's pretty easy to bring those meals together. Like just doing it off my head, I can't say that those are easier. Asian would be easier for me than Mediterranean, though,
Okay, okay.
off the top of my head, if I had to.
All right. All right. Next question. What advice would you give somebody that is up and coming and that wants to become a chef?
Okay. So there's more to, okay. So there's more. First of all, why do you want to be a chef? If it's because, oh, I know how to cook, that's not good enough. I mean, if I just crushed your dreams, I apologize.
Well,
Because
see you later.
it's there's so much more to being a chef than just cooking well, because being a chef isn't about cooking well. Being a chef is about being a leader,
Okay.
honestly, because most people that are chefs don't cook that well, believe it or not. I mean, I don't want to say they don't know how, but it's not because their cooking expertise is so great. It's usually because they know how to lead and they know how to help people become better at it, become better at what it is they're doing. So, one, weirdly enough, you have, I mean, I want to say weirdly enough, but you have to somewhat be a people person to some degree. I don't really consider myself a people person. And a lot of people are like, no, you are a people person. It's just like, no, I just know how to work with people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have to at least be a people person or know how to work with people and have not only sympathy, but empathy to some degree, first and foremost. Secondly, uh, and another, all my chefs that's going to hear this, I don't know, y'all can cast a stone at me all you want to, but you have to learn how to throw the ego out the door. Like, the ego will crush you every time, because if you cook something for somebody and they be like, oh, I don't like it, how dare you tell them, oh, you just don't know what good food is? No, that's not it. Like, for instance, you have this whole side of the world that might say, if you cook a steak past medium, you just destroyed the steak. Okay, so what if somebody over here want to eat a piece of leather? Who are you to tell them that they're
Exactly.
not eating it right? I mean, and that's what I mean, like, throw the ego out the window, because I'm not going to, if you ask me for a well done steak, I don't care what I think. I'm giving you your well done steak.
Yes.
So, one, you have to get rid of the ego. Two, it's not about just knowing how to cook well. Three, you have to know how to take constructive criticism, and you have to know how to lead.
Yeah.
So I feel those are like, and you have to be real, you have to have an open mind and be willing to learn. Because if you don't, if you come here thinking, I know how to cook, I'm the best cook, blah, 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 man, beat it. just beat it. I don't want to hear it. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I bet you there's grandmas that can probably still cook round like laps around you.
And that's the truth. Ain't nobody comparing to grandma's cooking.
Right.
Don't give
And that's what I'm
grandma's
saying.
way.
Like becoming a chef is not just about how well you cook. It's the technique. It's the leadership. It's knowing how to write menus, how to price a menu, how to scale food, how to bring a team together, how to manage the team, how to promote your team, how to market your food, how to know when to step back and let somebody step front, how to go into the back. It's just so much. So it's not just about cooking good food.
Okay, all right. Well, left me speechless. Tongue all tied up over here. Um, where are your current projects right now and your goals? What do you got going on?
So right now my current projects is somehow I really want to open up the door for me to coach and consult more and help people more.
Okay.
So that's really big on the menu right now, no pun intended. I also want to um create more content, like do more cooking demos and things to that nature, like me cooking stuff and showing people how to cook things. I really do like to educate and teach and help. Like I said, coaching and consulting. So creating content, doing demos, consulting people, coaching people. That's kind of where I'm trying to have the nitty gritty at right now. I mean, I still will cook for people and cater and things to that nature. I don't mind doing that. I like catering on small scales though. So as in like cook the food, drop it off to you, or make you a box lunch and things to that nature. That's more my speed. If somebody wants me to cater a wedding or something to that extent, I will, but it's not going to be on a full scale. Like you still have to get your table linens and your this and your that. That's all you. All I'm going to do is cook the food for you.
Okay. All right. Respect.
I will even go one step and serve it for you as well, but I'm not getting your table. I'm not going to get your table linens and your flatware and your dinnerware and your stemware and all those wares. I'm not doing I'm not doing all that part.
All right. Let's step away from cooking. Let's take a break.
Okay.
Let's get a breather. Have a glass of water. What are outside of cooking, what is your personal interests and your hobbies? What do you like to do?
Hmm. What are you telling me, Kitty? She said messing with me. Like
You better come back on
um
and talk.
right, back. So outside of cooking, I actually like um even though you said outside of cooking, I still like learning more cooking techniques and stuff. I mean, that's just my time to meditate, motivate. Um, she is silly. Um, I like shopping like most women do, I guess. Hanging out with friends, meditating, motivating people, laughing, joking, just being around fun people and just having just time to myself. Maybe, going out tasting more food though, being a foodie. Matter of fact, while we was doing this, I was like, oh man, my phone, I was getting a call so we can go out and eat and taste some food somewhere. So I don't veer too far away from food. I like vacationing. I just don't like the traveling part to get there. So I mean, when we can time warp, that would be great. So I mean, yeah, I like vacationing. The travel part, the getting there part, I just be like, ugh. But things like that. I'm really easy and down to earth. Just real subtle stuff.
Now, what would you say was the biggest lesson you learned and advice that you would like to share to others?
Um, just in life in general, like the biggest lesson I've learned.
Yep.
The biggest lesson I learned is one, believe in yourself. Believe in yourself and always invest in yourself.
Preaching.
Do not be afraid to ask for help.
Start preaching now. Come on.
And If you feel you need help, be it physical, mental, or emotionally, do not be afraid to go out and get it. It's nothing wrong with possibly, like, for asking for help, getting counseling, coaching, or therapy. It's nothing wrong with that. They just believe in yourself, trust in yourself, invest in yourself, and don't and always give back. And giving back doesn't necessarily have to be monetary. Like, it can just be giving back can just be an ear for somebody. It can be help volunteering. It may be giving back monetarily. Just be there for others.
Well said. Well said, man. Look at you got this down. About to see you giving out speeches here soon. You out there coaching people.
I mean,
Anything.
I find that when you give back, I mean, when you ask for help and you give back, I mean, and don't just frivolously ask for help because you need it, you know? When you do that, I mean, it it just shows that you're vulnerable. Be vulnerable. Do not be afraid to be vulnerable. Vulnerable is not weakness.
Well, like you said earlier too, it's really you gotta let go of that ego, man. And don't be afraid to ask for help. And that's what it's
Yeah.
all about. Get out there, ask somebody for help. Seek help if you
Mhm.
need it. If you don't understand what you're doing completely, whatever you're pursuing, if it's not even being a cook and you're chasing after a dream and you need some advice from somebody, don't be afraid to get that help. Get somebody that's gonna give you the right advice. Look for somebody that's in that field right now that has gone through the same stuff, the same obstacles. And go after them.
Exactly. And I also will add into that, if you're in a place capable of giving help, do that as well.
Yeah,
Like, if you can be the helper and not the helpee, by all means, be the helper.
mic drop. Um, Now say if you didn't end up being a chef, what would you have possibly got into other than being a chef?
Forensic pathology.
Really? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I guess you got that question asked a lot, huh?
Well, I always wanted to be a medical examiner.
Okay.
So when I was younger, I wanted to actually be a mortician. And then I was like, you know what? I want to cut on dead bodies. I want to cut them open and look inside. They was like, oh, you want to become a medical examiner? You want to go into pathology? I was like, yes, I do then. So,
That's what I want to do, babe.
so I actually, I was about 20, I was about 26, I think. 20, somewhere between 26 and 28. Yeah, somewhere between that age. I was actually in the process of going back to school for pathology, and finding, looking at different universities, starting to get the application process going so I could go ahead and, go into that field of either becoming a medical examiner or a pathology assistant. And um my stepfather ended up passing, and my husband fell out the sky at the funeral. And I ended up meeting him and
What?
didn't go to school. So that I ended up not going to school to be the pathologist and ended up becoming a chef.
Hey, I mean, that's a heck of a story right there.
Yeah.
All right, as we begin to wrap this thing up, is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Um, Not that I can think of, other than the fact, I mean, just thank you for having me. Thank you for creating a platform for people to express themselves and tell about their lives and speak about different things, because there's so many different kinds of people out there, so many different backgrounds and things we like to do. So thank you for opening up your platform to me to let me at least let your viewers come into the eye and life of a chef.
Yes, without a doubt. It's a privilege and an honor just to have you on the show, just to hear your story and where you come from and how your everything just going on in your life. I mean, this is only just the beginning. I can already see it from you. You're destined for greatness, man.
Oh, thank you. And I feel the same for you as well. It's like, it's just so funny because I actually made a post on Facebook today, and I was just like, everybody has dealt with either self guilt or imposter syndrome somewhere. Don't give up. Just keep on going.
Another mic drop right there.
Hmm.
All right, let's get goofy. Let's get goofy now. Let's ask some like random questions.
Okay.
Um, let's see what I can think of here. If you could go anywhere in the world, where are you going?
Oh man, that's a tough one. Hmm. If I go to anywhere in the world, huh, I would probably say, well, I'll say this. When I was younger, it would have been Australia. Now that I'm older,
Australia.
now that I'm older, I believe it would be Africa.
Okay, okay. Any reason why?
Well, Australia, um, I wanted to go to Australia just because more science related. So that's when I was like into the science, like I was, because marsupials and stuff, they're more primitive to like most animals over here, and they feel that the reason they haven't evolved yet or why they're all over there is because Australia is so far from everything. So just being able to see like marsupials and the Great Barrier Reef and all that stuff. So I just wanted to see that type of stuff. And New Zealand ain't far off, so I thought it'd be pretty cool to see some jet black sand and things like that.
Okay. For my fan base
Um,
over in Africa and Australia, she might be coming to you soon, so be ready. Ready.
right. And then Africa, I mean, well hell, I'm black. Why wouldn't I want to go back to
Yeah,
where I
why
come
not?
from?
Come back to the motherland. Is that what they call
Right.
it?
So that would be Australia. But hey, I'm not even gonna lie. I wouldn't mind going to Australia. I mean, not Australia, Alaska to see the Aurora Borealis, or even Antarctica, even though it's cold. But I wouldn't mind seeing that either.
I like to see the Northern Lights, man.
Yeah, the Aurora Borealis.
I'd love to see that. And people ask me the same question. If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? I want to go everywhere, man. I want to see it all.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, let's just go. Go. If I can go anywhere in the world, I guess I'll go around it once. There you go.
If yeah, somebody's paying me a ticket, man, for me to go somewhere, like, okay, I want to go everywhere. Take me everywhere. I want to meet
Mhm.
everybody. I want to hear everybody's story. I mean, that's the whole reason I
Right.
created this.
Right. I mean, and why not go to the red light district one day? Hey,
All right.
I will.
Random question number 2. Let's see what I can come up with now. What kind of car do you like?
Hmm. I I like a lot of cars, and I don't want to say I have a dream car, but if all possible, my next car will be a fully loaded, full size Volvo sedan. I don't know what make and model, but I said full size. So whichever one is their full size model, fully loaded. All wheel drive.
All right. Anybody has asked me that question? I would say, I don't know, man. I've seen a lot of Bronco Sports, and I've driven in one. And after driving, you're doing a little test drive in one. I'd like to have that as my next car.
Okay. Yeah, like my last two vehicles have been trucks. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm ready to get back to a car. But I figure if it's an all wheel drive car, same thing as driving a truck, all wheel drive. Let's get it. I'm just doing it in a car now. I mean, I guess I'm just ready to be down to the ground again.
Okay, okay. All right. This one's gonna be kind of iffy for the audience, but
Okay.
the third one. Okay, since I'm wearing the Jesus shirt,
Okay.
do you have a testimony to share?
Oh, I don't want to say I don't, but what would be my testimony?
I know this is a tough one for some people, but
Um, I'm sure I do. Everybody have a testimony, regardless if they want to believe it or not. Like you said, it depends, I guess, on where your faith and your beliefs are. Um, I mean, I guess it's gonna sound kind of cliche, but I would go back to where I would say my testimony would be believing in yourself, because I mean, I didn't ever think that I would become a chef, to be honest with you. I just didn't believe that it was for me. But once again, it took time and education and patience to learn what a chef was. So I guess my testimony is, don't count yourself out. everybody, I mean, you may have a troubled past, you may not. I'm not going to go too far down my path, but there's some choices I made that weren't the greatest ones, that where people would have counted me out.
Yes. But without
Where I could
doubt.
have counted myself out. Where I could have been like, oh, because I've done this or I've done that, I'm not worthy to do this or be this.
Yeah.
So, don't let your past dictate your future. I mean, as long as you wake up the next day, be it God, Allah, Buddha, Yahweh, Allah, whatever the one you pray to, even if you don't pray to any of them, be it just creator or universe, you have a chance to make a difference or to become what it is that you feel you are to become. And to be honest, is this me here being a chef the end of it all? I don't know, because once again, I just told you I want to dib and dab in being a consultant and coach. Is it just in the culinary field? I don't know. But one thing I do know is I guess I'll, pat myself on the back. I am really good at giving advice and giving and listening to people and things. I have very good discernment.
So you're ready for that, huh? That's your
Mm-hmm.
next calling. You're a
I
chef
think
right
so.
now, but I hope you're preparing yourself for them speeches you're about to be giving. You're about to be on stage. No,
I
you
mean,
are.
I'm not
You are
preparing
going to be.
for it, but I just do it. When people need that pep talk or people need that help or when people just need that uplift, hey, come on now, let's get it together.
No, this is the first step of it. You're already at that. You're walking down that road already now, and people are
Yeah,
going to see it after they see this video. They're going to
I
say,
hope
"Hey,
so.
she's a coach, man. She's got that. She's got that spirit inside of her, man. That she's ready to come out and give us that coaching lesson. She's going to teach us about life, the hard knocks, and how to survive it."
Yeah, I can give definitely some advice there.
And that's what I hope everybody got out of this today. Watching and listening, you heard where she came from. You know, she could have gave up easy on life.
Oh
Stuff wasn't
yeah,
working out for her, but here you are, cooking meals, about to become a coach, about to be a motivated speaker, motivational speaker.
I mean, it's easy to give up. I mean, it's easy for anybody to give up, but why? Because it's like if you give up, well, I don't know. It's just like, why would you want to live that life?
Yeah,
I don't know. That it just, I mean, and I'm not knocking anybody for any of their choices, but I'm just thinking honestly, just thinking, it's just like, why give up? I mean, I'd rather push hard to at least enjoy some type of life
yes.
than to give up and have no kind of life.
What better way to put it is you're simply stating this as saying you don't want to go through life having that what if factor.
That's yeah.
You don't want to say like at the end of the day when you're in your old age, because you're only young once. Time, believe it or
Mm-hmm.
not, that second just passed by. That minute just passed by.
Yep.
You got to start making yourself do stuff now because we don't get time back. Like I said,
Right.
that second's gone. It ain't coming back. That minute's gone. It
Yep.
ain't coming back. So today is the time to start making moves, to
It
start
sure
making
is. Like
stuff
every
happen.
day you live, you are making your legacy. So be mindful in what you do. I mean, you're not going to be great every day,
No,
but at
you're
least
gonna
try
make
to be as
mistakes.
mindful as you can.
Yeah. And that's his life, man. You live, you learn. You're gonna make
Mhm.
mistakes. Nobody's perfect, but that's all a part of it. You gotta. And I want to add this too. Step out of your comfort zone. That's what it's all
Yeah,
about. You can't
you have
you
to.
can't grow in this life if you're gonna be in your comfort zone. You gotta step out.
Right. If you aren't making goals to where there's some type of fear or some type of uncomfort, then the goal probably not big enough.
Nope. If you're comfortable, it's not happening, man. You gotta start.
Right.
You gotta do something.
I mean, yeah, like, I mean, a quick shameless plug, and it's not really to promote myself, but it's the fact that you just said that, like on Valentine's Day, I'll be on New Day Cleveland. I am nervous.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. But at the
like
end
to
of
the
the day,
point
it's
where I'm
gonna
like,
excited.
I mean, it's exciting, but I'm just like, oh goodness. Oh my goodness. What am I about to do? You know what I mean? So but I mean, weirdly enough, it was something I've always wanted to do, and now it finally found me. And now I'm just sitting here like, oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? Oh my goodness.
Nah, yeah, I
But
was just prepping you up for this show. I was just getting you prepared. You ready now?
man, tell me about it. So once again, I had to ask for help for that because I have friends that done been there and done it. You think I haven't called them like, hey, they reached out to me. Can you help me, please? What am I supposed to do?
Welcome back from another commercial break. So as before we cut off, she was talking about she was going to be on New Day Cleveland.
Yeah.
That's how she had a little bit of butterflies about it, but that's all part of it.
Right. I mean, I didn't ask for help, asked for them to come with me. I mean, that's it. So that's what I'm gonna do.
So what are you going to be doing on New Day Cleveland exactly? Are you going to be cooking? Are you going to be
I
talking?
am going to be demoing a meal. Since it's on Valentine's Day, I figured that I would um take a different spin on it. Like usually people think of desserts for Valentine's Day, chocolates or sweets, or maybe, decadent, this, that, and the other. I think I'm just gonna have something more heart healthy. So I'm gonna do a heart healthy ratatouille.
All right. So you guys heard it here. Look for that
Yep, you gotta
episode,
take
man.
care
Be
of your heart.
watching there.
Yeah, you gotta take care of your heart to have a heart to give your heart. So
Amen.
do something heart healthy and good.
All right. As we wrap it up, once again, thank you for coming on, telling us your story. If anybody wants to reach out to you and get a hold of you, connect with you, how can they do that?
So on Facebook is Genuine Cuisines Culinary Services, genuine with a J, so JENUINE. On Instagram is genuine for J _cuisines. I believe I have a YouTube page that I don't do much on, but I need to get on it, hence me saying that I want to create content. But I believe I think I just renamed it. What did I rename it? What I call it? I think it's Supergirl Chef Tidwell or something. I don't know. It's something like that on YouTube.
You gotta change it up to Chef Jennifer. You'll be cooking on there.
Right. And those are really the major. I do have a TikTok. I think it's Chef Tidwell on TikTok. I'm still learning how to use that one. I mean, it was like I never thought I would become the person where I get older to the point where I never was up on technology. Cause I used to like bash my parents for it. It's like, oh my God, I became that parent. Oh, never thought I would.
TikTok, man, is a whole different world. I'll tell you that.
I know. So I'm in the process of learning that so I can put content on there. But I believe I'm Chef Tidwell on TikTok.
Okay.
So
look it up. Go
oh
find
yeah,
it.
and the website is genuinecuisines.com. So if they want to go to the website, they can find it there too.
Also, I'd like to add, like we said earlier in the program, this is a platform for everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. You're allowed to come on here, just talk it up, chat it up, tell your story, tell your testimony, just talk about life in general.
Yes.
That's what it's all for. It's not, I don't just pick and choose who I want on the show. If you want to be on the show, connect with me, talk to me. Let's make it happen. Let's make history. Let's get you.
Sounds like a winner. I mean, you never like if I ever think of something interesting, I'll be like, hey, Chris, let's talk about this. I'm for it.
There you go. Look, there you go. And that's what it's all about. And then I put you out there, and that's what this is all about. Her story has been heard. It's been told. Now I hope whoever's watching, listening right now, I hope this inspired you. Hope it moves
I hope
you.
so as well. Yep, and I'm one of the people. Just I guess another thing, like if whoever's listening or whatnot, even though I'm over here in the Midwest, wherever you are, if you have any questions about culinary or food or anything, just reach out. I'm all for helping people, learn, explore, whatever. I mean, because we all need mentors and help. So feel free to ask me anything in regards to pricing, menu creation, technique, flavor affinities, whatever. Wherever I can help, I'm willing to help.
Other than that, I got nothing else, guys. We said everything.
I'm pretty much done too. I guess it's a wrap. I just thank you. I'm honored and privileged. Thank you.
Thank you once again. It's an honor and privilege. But this is Chris, your host of the podcast. Tell me your story. And this is Jennifer, the chef Jennifer, Chef Jen. Maybe one day she'll cook a meal for you. Or maybe one day she'll be coaching you, telling you like how it is, to the life of hard knocks. But other than that, this is Chris. That's Jen. We're out. Peace.